Hello, I'm Dave McClelland. Welcome to another edition of What the Heck. On today's episode, we're going to answer a question from Debbie of Coventry. Thanks for the email, Debbie. Debbie asks, Dave, what the heck is Henderson's relish? Isn't it just the same as Worcestershire sauce? Can you tell me the difference? Well, Debbie, you're in luck. Because I'm from Sheffield, the home of Henderson's relish, and like any other proud Sheffielder, I have a bottle in my kitchen. Reading the label here, it says Henderson's relish, the spicy Yorkshire sauce. Made in Sheffield for over 100 years. For that extra flavour with meat, fish, soups, pies, casseroles and vegetables. Ooh, I'm salivating already. Well, what is the difference between this and Worcestershire sauce? We're going to find out. Henderson's was in the news this past year. Southern MP Jim Dowd raised questions in the House of Commons about Henderson's relish. He said, what was this Liam Perrins usurper copying the label and the bottle style? The people of Sheffield were upset. How could anybody cast slurs on their beloved Henderson's relish? Well, eventually, Jim Dowd had to go up to Sheffield and eat his words, along with some humble pie and lashings of Henderson's relish. So Henderson's relish, Liam Perrins. What's the difference? There's only one way to find out. We're going on a road trip to Sheffield. Yeah. We're on the road. Yeah. Get your motor running. Head out on the highway. Looking for Henderson's, and whatever comes our way, yeah. Hey, darling, gonna make it happen. Here we are in Sheffield, the Steel City, home of the Full Monty and Henderson's relish, known to the local fans as Hendos. The premises here, just off Sheffield's University Square, are the spiritual home of Henderson's relish. The company moved their bottling plant to a new location some years ago, but this is a location where Henderson's relish was produced for over 100 years. But when you look into the history of Henderson's relish and the effect that it's had on some of the famous faces and the industrial might of the city, you realise that it's much more than a condiment, much more than a spicy sauce for stews and pies. Henderson's relish fans are spread around the world, and the product is shipped around the globe to satisfy them. Let's take a look at some of the famous faces who love Henderson's relish and the success that it's brought them. Jessica Ennis, track and field athlete and gold medal winner at the 2012 Olympics, is a keen Henderson's relish drinker. She knows that it won't show up in any random drug tests, and it's made her the sporting superstar that she is today. Seb Coe, now Lord Coe, was born in London, but he moved to Sheffield at an early age. He joined a local running club and was put on a steady diet of Henderson's relish supplements. He won gold medals at the Olympics in 1980 and 84. And what about Joe Cocker, that famous singer born in Sheffield and well known for his spectacular performance at Woodstock in 1969? Few people know that prior to the concert, Joe Cocker had completely lost his voice, but thanks to gargling with Henderson's relish, he was able to continue, and that performance is one that's still remembered today. Sheffield boy band, the Everly Pregnant Brothers, love Henderson's relish so much, they've made a song about it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Worcester sauce. That shit's no good for you. It tastes and this is not hello. I came along, I wrote a song for you. I put you on this tune, and you were called Hendos.
Chart toppers, the Arctic Monkeys, are huge fans of Henderson's relish. They spend a lot of time in America now, and they have it shipped out to them, so they're never without. As an actor, I was very lucky to have a part in the film that was made to accompany their song, When the Sun Goes Down.
He's a scumbag, don't you know?
I spent a very entertaining evening in a Winnebago with the lads from the Arctic Monkeys, and we downed a few bottles of Henderson's Relish. Very entertaining. And what about Lord of the Rings actor Sean Bean?
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
One does not simply sprinkle Henderson's Relish. He loves it.
They make their own relish, which is the best in the world. You know, it is. They sent me a big 2 gallons of relish, and you only need a tiny bit of fish and chips. But they're a firm that's it's an old firm. Won't give the recipe away. They export it all over the world. So you should try something.
Actually, Sean had a bit of an addiction to Henderson's Relish, and it caused some hormonal imbalances. Thankfully, that has been sorted out now, and he's looking more like his normal self. But he still loves the odd bottle of Henderson's Relish. Sheffield MP David Blunkett is a huge fan of Henderson's Relish. Here he is on a show with Gordon Ramsay.
A little bit more savoury with some Worcester sauce.
I'm going to do Henderson's Relish because it's made in Sheffield, it's vegetarian, and it's much better.
Henderson's?
So, yeah.
But it's not a relish though, is it? It's like a Worcester sauce.
It's like Worcester, yeah.
Now, crush potatoes, egg yolks in.
Though you wouldn't want to make too many claims about the health benefits of Henderson's Relish, it's a well-known fact that David Blunkett is a star player on the Labour Party's House of Commons darts team. In Sheffield, Henderson's Relish is used for everything. People add it to their baby's milk. People use it on their hair. Apparently it makes a great conditioner. And at petrol stations you'll even see people putting the odd sprinkle into their petrol tank. Apparently it adds up to 5 miles per gallon. But a warning here, don't add Henderson's Relish into diesel engines because it can cause damage. So Henderson's Relish has a lot of fans and a lot of uses. But what about the history? Well, I've been doing a lot of research, and what I've found will frankly astonish you. I've discovered that Henderson's Relish isn't a manufactured product at all. In fact, it comes from a naturally occurring spring located right here where the original factory was based. It was discovered by a farmer, Harold Henderson. This was back in the days when Sheffield was nothing more than a hamlet, 7 hills and 7 valleys. The Henderson family lived up on a hill. Harold noticed that animals that drank from the dark spring water were naturally stronger, healthier and faster than other animals. Soon, Harold and his family began to take a drop or two themselves, and they prospered. Well, it wasn't long before Harold began to bottle the amazing elixir. He concocted a list of ingredients and renamed it Henderson's Relish, so that no one would suspect the marvellous fluid was actually just bubbling up from the ground. But apart from its health benefits, Henderson's Relish has had an incredible impact on the economy of Sheffield. Back in 1913, local steelworker Harry Brearley was having his lunch at a steel factory when he accidentally knocked his bottle of Henderson's Relish into the smelter of hot steel. Well, they thought the batch was ruined, but when it was brought out, this new steel had incredible properties. It wouldn't rust and it didn't stain. And so stainless steel was born. It's understandable, with the economic impact that Henderson's Relish has had on the city of Sheffield, that city fathers would want to protect Henderson Spring. And so an army barracks was built right next door to the factory, and soldiers put on 24-hour guard to make sure nobody interfered with the flow. Those soldiers are still on guard today, making sure that the supply of Henderson's can continue uninterrupted. In the 1980s, researchers from Sheffield University, located right next door to Henderson Spring, realised that the potential production from the spring was far more than anyone could have ever anticipated. It was being bottled for home use, of course, and used in the steel production industry, but there was still an enormous potential there that hadn't been tapped, and that could be shared with the people of Sheffield. And so an enormous civil engineering project was proposed, one that would share Henderson's Relish throughout the city. But it had to have a cover story. No other city or town could guess what made Sheffield so productive in those years. In 1985, an Act of Parliament approved Sheffield's Supertram project. This was to send tram lines from one side of the city to the other, whilst at the same time providing an opportunity to lay wide tunnels underneath the tram lines to send Henderson's Relish to all parts of the city. There was, of course, a pipeline directly to Henderson's new bottling plant, a heavily guarded facility just off the Parkway in Sheffield. Unfortunately, funding ran out before the pipeline could be extended to either of Sheffield's football teams, Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United, and they've lingered in the doldrums ever since. But the tramline pipeline is working well, and little do these late-night revellers on Sheffield's West Street have any idea that underneath these tramlines, millions of gallons of Henderson's Relish flow every day. So what does the future hold for Henderson's Relish? Well, there are rumours that a local tycoon plans to invest in the tourism and health potential of Henderson's Relish by opening a magnificent spa facility where visitors will be able to soak themselves in the refreshing waters of Henderson's Relish. Soon, Henderson's will be shared by millions. So there we have it, Debbie, Henderson's Relish. It isn't Worcestershire sauce, it isn't Liam Perrins, it's from Sheffield, it's natural, and it does you good. So I ask you now, please raise your bottles of Hendos with me for a toast to Henderson's Relish. Cheers. Oh, glorious.